Eduardo?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had great time. Thanks, Eduardo.
Well, thank you for participating in the retrospectives, everyone. I really appreciate it.
Is it possible to skip the retrospectives next sprint?
Wait, what? I thought you all had fun.
Yeah, we had fun every retrospectives. But we still keep seeing the same problems in the company every sprint. It seems the retrospectives just becomes a ritual.
I agree with Anna. We had fun every retrospectives, but I think it's better to spend our times writing codes rather than doing retrospectives. Nothing ever changed in this company anyway.
On this channel, we have discussed running an effective sprint planning. We have also discussed running an effective daily Scrum. We have also discussed running an effective sprint review. And even though product backlog refinement is not an event in Scrum, it's an activity by the way, we have also discussed running an effective refinement activity. However, until today, on this channel we haven't discussed the most important Scrum events of all. You know what that is? The Sprint Retrospectives.
Yeah, can you believe that?
Even though the Sprint Retrospectives is the most important Scrum event of all, some teams I have worked with don't find any value in it and they try to find ways to skip it. Just like the team we have just seen in the previous scene. Now if you want to learn how to use Kanban metrics to engage your Scrum team during retrospectives and also to improve your Scrum team's effectiveness to deliver value to your customers, stick around folks, do not go anywhere because I'll be back right after this one. Hey, what's up everyone? For those of you who are new to this channel, welcome to the community of passionate changemakers. My name is Joshua Partugi. I'm a professional Scrum trainer based in Brisbane, Australia. If you're not a stranger on this channel, welcome back to this channel folks. I hope you're having an awesome day today. In today's video, we will learn about running an effective sprint retrospectives with Kanban metrics. Today's video is going to be long, and to make it convenient for you to go to certain topics on this video, I have placed chapter markers on this video. Just hover the video player to see the chapter markers. Alright folks, let's do this. A Scrum is only a framework. The Sprint Retrospectives is a minimum opportunity for the Scrum team to discover improvements for the future sprints. There should be nothing stopping the team to discover improvements multiple times before the Sprint Retrospective happen. In fact, teams who practice blameless postmortem would come up with improvements in an ad hoc manner. The improvements that the team discover may be about people practice, which includes but not limited to how the team interact with the stakeholders, or how they interview the users or the customers, or how they communicate and interact with the product owner, or how the Scrum Master can best serve the team. Practices like pairing, mob programming, or lean UX are some examples of people practices. The improvements may also be about technical practice, which includes but not limited to test automation, continuous integration, blue-green deployment, or you may be using certain technologies that can improve the team effectiveness, such as Docker or Kubernetes, or it may be a standard on how to write clean and testable code. The improvements can also be about process, such as writing tests first before the production code, or known as test-driven development, or using Kanban to optimize flow. Or the Scrum team may define slicing heuristics so their product backlog items can be thinly sliced. Some of these improvements the team discovered during the Sprint Retrospectives may become an additional checkbox on their definition of done. There are many Scrum teams who want to skip retrospectives, and when they do, they will be missing out on opportunities to discover improvements that may make their work more enjoyable and make the product with better quality and higher value delivered faster. Some of the common reasons why teams want to skip retrospectives is because they think retrospectives are a waste of time, or they cannot see any value in it. Because they think it's a waste of time, they prefer to spend their time working on the product backlog items, or sometimes doing something else that's not even related with the product they develop. On one spectrum, some Scrum teams don't find any value in retrospectives because they think if everything is working well or if there's no problem in the sprint, there's no point in having retrospectives. As written on Scrum Guide, the purpose of retrospectives is not to resolve problems, but to plan ways to increase quality and effectiveness. Now this is a big difference. Taiichi Ono, the father of Toyota Production System, said that it's actually a problem when people in the company cannot see that quality and effectiveness can be further improved. That means people are complacent or in a comfort zone. It's a big problem for the company when people are complacent in today's turbulent market, because the company may become less competitive in the market and may become irrelevant. awesome Scrum teams believe that there are always opportunities to be better than yesterday. On another spectrum, some teams don't find any value in retrospectives because they keep on seeing the same problems happening every sprint. This usually happens because either the sprint retrospectives does not result with actionable improvements, or the actionable improvements itself is not being implemented. The actionable improvements that are related to organizational constraints or bureaucracy can be followed up by the product owner and the Scrum Masters. If it's technical related, the actionable improvements can be implemented by the developers. When the Scrum team keeps seeing repeating problems from sprint to sprint, they will have apathy. It's a problem for the company when people have apathy, because people will not bring the best of themselves when developing the product. Now folks, from your experience, what are the other reasons in between these two spectrums that make teams want to skip retrospectives? Let me and the whole community know by leaving a comment down below. Also, don't forget to check out several bad retrospectives in forms of short meme videos that I have already made for this channel. If you also have seen other bad retrospectives that have not been covered by those meme videos, leave a comment down below so I can also make more short meme videos to help other Scrum teams prevent bad retrospectives. For teams who do not know the objective or the essence of retrospectives, I personally think it's a good idea for the Scrum Master to mention the prime directive by Norm Kurth before the retrospectives start. From my personal experience, for teams who have been working together for a while, it's still a good idea to mention the prime directive every now and then because it's possible the team composition has changed or some team members may need a reminder. The prime directive by Norm Kurth is: regardless of what we discover, we understand and truly believe that everyone did the best job they could, given what they knew at the time, their skills and abilities, the resources available, and the situation at hand. Many Scrum Masters think that games or icebreaker activities during retrospectives will engage the team. Now, we have to be very careful here. Being engaged is not the same as having fun. Being engaged means showing interest with what's happening at the company. It's not about having fun. The antonym of engaged is apathy. The team can have fun during retrospectives but still have apathy towards the company after the retrospectives. To engage the team at the beginning of the retrospectives, they should start with looking at data. Now, when talking about data, there is qualitative data and there is quantitative data. Qualitative data is gathered through observation that is done by the team themselves. The Scrum team can gather qualitative data using retrospectives formats that are listed on websites like tastycupcakes.org. I personally like using quantitative data during retrospectives because it's more objective and it's more actionable. If you are going to use qualitative data in your retrospectives, make sure to incorporate quantitative data too, otherwise the team may be suggesting improvements based on subjectivity. And that can be a problem. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use Kanban metrics as the quantitative data to improve your Scrum team's effectiveness. Now, in this demonstration, I'm going to use Kanbanize as the tool. And as a full disclosure to all of you, today's video is sponsored by Kanbanize. Alright folks, I'm now inside Kanbanize Analytics dashboard. Kanbanize has many metrics that the Scrum team can use, but in today's video, I would like to share with you the ones that can support the Scrum team during retrospectives only. Now, one of the Kanban metrics that the Scrum team should look at during retrospectives is cycle time. Cycle time, in short, is the duration of one product backlog item actually gets done. Now, in the context of Scrum, done here means the product backlog item satisfies each checkbox in the definition of done. Some people still think that definition of done is the same as acceptance criteria. In today's video, I'm not going to explain the differences between definition of done and acceptance criteria because I have already made a video about it. You can find the video on this channel if you haven't already watched that video yet. Bear in mind that cycle time is a lagging indicator, which means that you will only know the cycle time of a product backlog item when it actually gets done. Kanbanize has several charts to visualize the cycle time for done product backlog items. The first visualization is scatter plot, as you can see on the screen right now. In this example, you're seeing the cycle time data from February until when this video is made, which is June 5th, 2022. Now, if this team is using a 1 calendar month sprint, you can say this is the data from the past 4 sprints. The x-axis here on the scatter plot is the date when the product backlog items is done according to the definition of done. The y-axis is the cycle time in the number of days unit. So the dots you see here represent the product backlog items itself. For example, this dot that I'm hovering right now with the done date on the 23rd of May has a cycle time of 1 day. When looking at the cycle time scatterplot chart, the team can look at the product backlog items with cycle time above the threshold they have defined. And remember, it is the Scrum team who defines how long the threshold should be, not anyone else outside of the Scrum team. When looking at the product backlog items with cycle time above the threshold they have set, they should keep in mind the prime directives and not to blame anyone. Keep in mind that the goal during this exercise is to discover improvements, not to discover a scapegoat. Based on this scatter plot, we can see that 95% of the time, the team delivered the product backlog items in 17 days or less. Now, let's say the team wants to look at the product backlog items with cycle time more than 17 days or above the 95 percentile. They can just look at these dots above the 95 percentile line. The product backlog item that I'm hovering right now has a cycle time of 23 days. Now, during retrospectives, the team can ask each other what caused this product backlog item to actually get done above the threshold they have set, and what can they do to prevent it from happening again. Now, the second visualization for cycle time is histogram, as you can see on the screen right now. The representation of cycle times using histogram is a bit different because on the histogram chart, you cannot see the done date of the product backlogs. The x-axis on the histogram is the cycle time in the number of days unit, while the y-axis is the frequency of the product backlog items done in a certain number of days. So, for example, the bar that I'm hovering right now tells us that there are 50 product backlog items that were done in one day. When the team uses histogram to discover improvements, the idea is similar to when they use the cycle time scatterplot chart. Now, let's say there aren't any product backlog items above a certain threshold found on both of these charts, or the histogram does not have any long tail because the Scrum team is consistently delivering production-ready quality products every single sprint because they have already automated all of the testing, all of the deployments, the quality of the product is rock solid because the definition of done reflects high-quality product, and it never gets interrupted with production incidents. Collaboration with the product owner and the Scrum Master is super awesome. The management is supportive and empathetic. In this kind of ideal team, they still can identify how they can improve their effectiveness after looking at these two charts, just like how a runner or a swimmer who continuously improve their techniques or their capability based on how fast they are today. So for example, if we use the histogram shown on the screen right now, the breadth of the cycle time distribution is between 1 to 29 days. During retrospectives, the Scrum team may discuss how they can narrow down the breadth of the cycle time distribution as such it does not exceed 15 days, for example. Now, after asking this question, the team may come up with improvements in forms of people practice, technical practice, or process improvements that I have already mentioned earlier in today's video. When the Scrum team incorporates Kanban into their process, as you may have noticed based on the scatterplot chart, the team can pull any product backlog items at any point in time during the sprint because Kanban is a pull system and a flow-based process. That means it's possible the team starts working on a product backlog item 3 days before the end of the sprint, and that product backlog item is done according to the definition of done on the 3rd day of the next sprint. As I mentioned earlier, cycle time is a lagging indicator. Because Kanban is a flow-based process and because there's no such thing as carryover or spillover in Kanban, we need to have a leading indicator that tells us which product backlog items that have been in process for a certain number of days. The goal here is to prevent the cycle time of those product backlog items becoming even longer. To get these insights, the team would use the aging whip chart. The aging whip chart tells the team whether there are any product backlog items that have been pulled by the team and have been in the process for more than the threshold they have set. So based on this sample aging whip chart that you see on the screen right now, this product backlog item that I'm hovering right now is still in process for 133 days. Now, that's more than 4 months already. If the Scrum team does not do anything about it, by the time this product backlog item is done, the cycle time will of course be much longer than 133 days. There are many reasons why it's still in the process for 133 days. There may be a blocker or a dependency from a third party or from another team, or the team may have been interrupted with many production incidents, or maybe the team keeps on getting that expedite request from the CEO that have caused them to put aside this product backlog item. The Scrum team can discuss whether they still want to work on that product backlog item. Personally, I think any product backlog item that has an age of 3 months or more may have already gone stale or no longer relevant with the current market conditions. But if the Scrum team still wants to work on it, they can discuss improvements they should do in the next sprint to remove the blocker or the dependencies, or improvements to prevent the team from getting interrupted with production incidents or expedite requests from the CEO. So folks, these are the Kanban metrics and charts that I found useful to help the Scrum team discover actionable improvements during sprint retrospectives. If after watching today's video you would like to try out Kanbanize in your own Scrum team, you can type the link on the screen right now. I will get a commission for every subscription made from that link, and every commission I get will help me grow this channel. Thank you to all of you who have supported this channel. I very much appreciated all of your support to this channel. Alright, so that is all from me for today, folks. Thank you for watching today's video until the end. If you think today's video has given you ideas on how to improve your retrospectives, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up by clicking that like button down below. Smash that like button! And also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, folks. And also, watch these videos here and also the one down there. Thank you, folks. Until then, stay safe and stay awesome.